co-creation is that working together, creating, learning together, and creating together, and becoming successful together for the different type of needs. So this only be possible, especially for the young generation and talents. So, which I try to be sure that in our country of Türkiye, which we're having since 2018, a big technology festival, the biggest and largest technology festival around the world. So nearly every year, 2 million talents, students competing each other on 49 different type of competition. The competition on the climate change, the polar biotechnology, chip design, to electrical cars, including the technologies for the needs for the society. So these are, there are 49 different type of categories. But end of the day, not only achieving the success, so how you are achieving success, so which means that the different type of disciplines coming together to working together and create the impact. So since we have been talking in this conference, innovation to the impact, so these students or talents are future. And I always say that, we have been a more challenging environment. In terms of the challenging on environmentally, economically, socially, technologically, and geopolitically, becoming more challenging. So we need a new approach. So the new approach is the co-creation and not only the collaboration. And the WAITRO is the right venue to co-create, and the sustainability is only possible by the young talents. So in this respect, I found this conference and event is very important. So we are not only talking about the solving the problems for today and tomorrow for the future of our generations, not only for China or Turkey in global sense. Yeah, thank you very much.
The JITRI model itself looks at industry needs in research and then finds research solutions to solve those needs. Many times it can find those needs within China, but when it can't, JITRI works with international partners to supply those technology needs and to bring innovation into China. WAITRO allows us to essentially globalize that model and have research partnerships around the world. One should also remember that it's not always just about bringing in technology and bringing in innovation. There are important aspects to where is the market going to be for innovation. And in order for innovation to really have impact, you have to find a market. Right now, the Chinese markets are very unique. There's a unique opportunity in sustainability. But in the future, if you look at projected population demographics, there are going to be many, many more people in Africa. Your markets for Chinese technology are going to move. You're going to have to start looking outside. And so WAITRO is a very important conduit to do the long-term planning for that to happen. And I think it's a very good thing for JITRI to be involved. It's actually a great honor for JITRI to be selected as the Secretariat, and the fact that we were elected unanimously, in fact, in 2022, just indicative of how good a job JITRI has done at managing WAITRO for the world.
我们经常在讲创新呐，就把创新和科学和技术等同起来了。其实创新一个很重要的结果就是一定要有价值，要有影响力。当然，这个影响力包括这个经济的影响力，也包括社会效益的影响力。所以我们这次的这个论坛的主旨呢，就是说大家做创新，但是别忘了创新的目的是要为社会、要为全人类有影响力，也就是要为我们的绿色发展、可持续发展做贡献。我们是在2017年加入这个组织的，从2023年开始，我们江苏产业院就独立作为秘书处来服务这个全球的这个会员。我想江苏产业院去担任一个在1970年已经有54年历史的国际组织的秘书处，那么这样的一个工作，我觉得这也是一个方面，江苏中国应该加入国际创新的这样一个大家庭。因为总书记都讲了，我们是要建立人类命运共同体。另外，我们江苏要建成全球影响力的产业科技创新中心，而我们这个组织就是世界工业技术研发组织的联合会，所以我们相信，我们去加入这个组织，服务这个组织的会员，同时 也让我们江苏的研发机构、江苏的大学、江苏的企业和全世界的这个工业技术研发的这个生态进行连接，也为我们江苏成为全球影响力的产业科技创新中心做出我们应有的贡献。如何让创新产生影响力？首先，你创新的题目就要来源于真实的产业的需求。如果你做的题目是科学家自己想象的，那么跟实际差得很远，你做的创新就很难产生影响力。另外呢，我们时刻要想到我们的影响力不仅仅是经济的影响力，要想到有对社会、对环境对持续发展的影响力。比如说我们的废钢切割机器人，它的目的就是让我们能够更多的钢厂在冶炼过程当中，在钢铁的制造过程当中多用回收的钢铁，来降低排放。那么我们在这方面要做我们的工作。另外呢，我们让创新产生影响力，我们要用这样的理念去和全世界的有同样理念的研发机构、高校院所企业去加强合作。比如我们和哈佛大学的合作，所以我想要用创新创造影响力来服务我们的经济，服务我们的社会，来和全球建立人类命运共同体，我觉得都是非常重要的。江苏产业院从成立那天开始。
尊敬的各位来宾，本次会议即将开始，请您尽快就座，并将手机等通讯设备关闭或置于静音状态。谢谢您的合作。
Ladies and gentlemen, the event will begin shortly. Can we please ask for you to kindly take your seats? We would like to remind you again to switch off all mobile phones and put electronic devices to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation.
Pretty good I can do that voice, isn't it? Welcome, everybody, to the closing session of the WAITRO Summit 2024 Innovation to Impact. We've had 2 very intense days of discussions about various aspects of increasing the impact of innovation. If my voice holds out, on this last morning we're going to focus on RTO structure and how it can be optimized for competitive and pre-competitive research across borders. As I've often said, half jokingly, that JITRI really wants to be Fraunhofer when it grows up. JITRI has just started in 2013. Fraunhofer has existed for, over 70 years, I believe. There is a lot of similarity between the models, although, of course, there are differences from the China environment. So I'm very pleased to welcome our first keynote speaker, Dr. Johann Feckl. Since April 2020, he served as Director and Section Head of Pre-Competitive Research and International Affairs at the Fraunhofer Institute. He's been responsible for the development and implementation of Fraunhofer-Gesellschaft's global strategy, as well as all of its centrally supported presences. These programs generate and fund innovative project ideas in Fraunhofer, and he's also Chairman of the Board of Directors of Fraunhofer Chile and President of the Board of Trustees of the new Fraunhofer Spain. Please give a very warm welcome to Dr. Feckl.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today and to talk to you. I'm sorry that I arrived late, but I have been at a AHK, the German Business Chamber, meeting yesterday, and it was a very intense gathering of 1,000 business leaders in Beijing. So my title of my talk is Connecting Ideas, the Fraunhofer Model for International Research Cooperation. Since we're talking about the structure, I want to give you an overview of our organization and start, of course, with the name. Our role model and eponym is Josef von Fraunhofer. He lived 1787 till 1826. And so he combined the different traits, being a researcher, being an inventor, and being an entrepreneur. And this is the reason why 75 years ago, when Fraunhofer has been founded, they chose him as a namesake. And he was discovering the Fraunhofer lines in the solar spectrum, so the Fraunhofer lines. He invented new methods for processing lenses and applied that directly as a director and a partner in a glassworks. And this is what we are still looking for in our employees, to combine all those different traits. Fraunhofer has now 32,000 employees. The numbers are not very up to date, so it's rather moving towards 34,000. And we have 76 institutes all around Germany. So you can see the German map here. And we're operating on a total business volume of 3.4 billion euros each year. And our mission and our core statement is applied research, applied contract research for industry. And to perform that, we partner with industries and companies to transform original ideas into innovations that benefit society and strengthen both the German and European economies. And how do we do that? Fraunhofer is the so-called missing link between academia and industry. And we have a very strong integration with academia, which is very, very important for us. So all of our directors at our institutes are also a full professor at the university. So they will have their research groups at the universities as well, but are, on the other side, as a director for Fraunhofer, always in very close contact to industry. And therefore, they know the different needs from both sides. They know what the industry is looking for, and therefore they can already steer the basic research towards the direction of the needs of industry. This allows us to do the demand-driven research, combined with the scientific excellence from the universities. And since we're like 75 years old organization, we have the processes all in place to do professional R&D services for industry. Our funding model, which is also called the Fraunhofer model, is doing contract research for businesses. And this funding model is comprised of 3 different pillars. The first one is, and this is also what I'm responsible for at Fraunhofer, pre-competitive research funded with base funding. So we receive base funding from our government, which is the BMBF, the ministry, on a federal level, and also the Länder, our states. And we use that to put something in the pipeline that will be attractive afterwards. Then we compete in publicly funded research projects. That's the second pillar. And the third one, and this is what we are always aiming for, is doing research directly contracted by industry. And that's actually also how Fraunhofer is internally steered. This is our KPI. Our institutes are all driven towards industry because they need to show that they can provide benefit to industry, which industry is also willing to pay for. And this KPI will also define how much of the base funding our institutes will receive next year. So it's an internal steering mechanism that makes sure that our institutes are always striving to work with industry. Looking at the governance of Fraunhofer, Fraunhofer is a eingetragener Verein, so it's an association. This means we do have members and a general assembly. The members can be natural persons, friends of applied research, so to say, and for example, are also our directors, our advisory board members for our institutes, and they elect the Senate, which oversees and appoints our executive board. And our executive board is managing the whole Fraunhofer organization. And then our institutes are clustered in 9 groups. So we thematically have organized them And those 9 groups have chairs, which will be delegated to the Presidential Council. And then on the other hand, our 76 institutes also delegate someone to the Scientific and Technical Council, which advises the Executive Board and the Presidential Council. So this is our governance structure. Looking at the figures, the key transfer figures, Fraunhofer has been conducting contract research in 2023, roughly about 700 million euros. So this is direct contract research done for industry. Then, of course, we're also creating spin-offs. And it is very important to notice here, this is only spin-offs, not startups. And spin-offs will always include Fraunhofer technology. So there will always be a license agreement attached to those spin-offs. And last year it's been 23, and it's around 30 each year. And you can see we also have achieved some exits, which means in the beginning we need to invest to create an exit. So this is also something within our business model. If the technology is very promising and there is the opportunity, then Fraunhofer will also invest in its spin-offs. To be able to create spin-offs, you also need to have the technology, and you need to patent it. And Fraunhofer has over 7,000 active patent families, and we're one of the most prominent inventors in Europe. And with those patents, we also have a licensing revenue of 160 million euros each year. And this is, in the beginning, Fraunhofer is very known for creating MP3 and creating a lot of licenses, licensing revenue from that. But this has run out already. So the 160 million euros are basically without MP3 revenues, but patents that followed afterwards. We of course engage in norms and standards communities, and one thing that is also very important for us is transfer via people. We have a Fraunhofer Academy that helps the industry to train the people, but also around 10% of our researchers annually move to industry. So they are trained at Fraunhofer, they are working in contract research projects with industry. So of course, afterwards, it's very easy for them to move on and work with industry. Our global network, we do have 9 independent Fraunhofer affiliates outside of Germany. One is in the US, one in Chile, as has been mentioned, one in Singapore. And then we also have several in Europe. And the latest one there is Spain, which we have founded last year and will be inaugurating in January next year. We have 5 representative offices all around the world to connect our researchers to the markets. And here in Beijing, we are celebrating 25 years of this representative office next week. So it's going to be a very big celebration with 180 people joining us. And it's a very good success story over the last 25 years. Looking at the international research collaboration programs. So we have one specific program that is focused on connecting our researchers with international partners. This is an internal funding portfolio, and it complements the international activities of our Fraunhofer institutes because they are already working very internationally. So 30% of all our industrial revenue is from international clients. Only 70% is from German companies. And in this portfolio, we have specific co-financed cooperation formats. We want to finance R&D collaborations. We also have an international mobility component in there that finances or enables stays abroad for Fraunhofer employees. but also on the other way around, that guest sales are possible at Fraunhofer. And currently ongoing 36 funded Connect collaborations with 35 institutes being involved and 32 partners from 20 countries. And just recently, when we inaugurated in a Fraunhofer Innovation Platform in Taiwan of the Fraunhofer IST, there's a collaboration with Singapore of Fraunhofer IOF. The Fraunhofer ISC is working with the Korea University and so on. So you can see it's a very broad spectrum, and this gives our institutes the means to collaborate with you. So if you're interested in a collaboration with Fraunhofer, then the best way usually is to connect to an institute, to directly figure out where a possible collaboration could be put in place. And then our headquarters can support you with those funding opportunities. So working with Fraunhofer, possible collaboration models, I mean, you've seen the numbers already. The first and most important pillar always for us is doing contract research. So this is our business model. We are working for industry, with industry in joint projects. We're creating spin-offs, we are creating licensing agreements and so on. So the most important thing would always be the contract research, but of course to do that and to put something in the pipeline, as I said, we also need scientific collaborations with the most excellent partners worldwide, and we're happy to do so also with you together. So in the end, Fraunhofer is a very broad network with a lot of competencies, 76 institutes. And as an industry partner or even as an academic partner, it sometimes can be difficult to navigate. And that's the reason why we created our Fraunhofer Match platform, which can also be seen as a similar approach to the ZIRA platform that is has been created here in WAITRO to connect the partners together. And this is a specific platform that we are using that makes it possible for industry partners, but also for you to connect to Fraunhofer institutes. So you can put in a request, and then there will be contact points that figure out and match you to the most specific Fraunhofer institute. So I hope I stayed within the 20 minutes, and thank you very much for your attention. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Feckl. Indeed, JITRI is different, but no doubt inspired by the Fraunhofer model. In fact, most of you out there will know that for the first 4 years I was here, the Secretariat itself was actually a partnership between JITRI and Fraunhofer Institute. We valued that partnership so much that, in fact, I know the term Eigenträger Verein because we founded one ourselves in Bonn to keep that partnership going. So let's compare what's going on in the Yangtze Delta and look at a couple of elements of the JITRI extended ecosystem here. To do that, it's my pleasure to invite Professor Xiaosu, who is the Executive Director of the Yangtze Delta Carbon Fiber and Composite Materials Technology Innovation Center. Professor Yi is a leading expert in carbon fiber and composite materials. He specializes in sustainable applications for aerospace and industrial sectors. He has extensive experience in green innovation, and he guides the center's initiatives in environmentally responsible materials and its international growth strategies. Please join me in welcoming Professor Yi Xiaosu.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name, as mentioned, Xiaosu Yi. I come from the Innovation Center for Carbon Fiber and Composites. There are two keywords in my presentation. First one is greening, green technology, The second one is globalization. I think both match today's conference for under WAITRO, yeah. Open it. Okay, first, what is CCIC? CCIC is the National Technology Innovation Center for specified for carbon fiber and composites. And I'm not aware if you a little bit know what is the JITRI. So exactly we are the JITRI model. So we are not very old. We are only two years old. And we are located in Zhenjue, not far from here. And it is established by 3 governments, by provincial government, by state government, by Zhenjue government, and high-tech zone government. So at the moment, we are 100% funded by government. And to our business, our vision is to be the leader of industrial technology innovation and the specified for carbon fiber and composite materials. Our function is also very similar to JITRI. We conduct in-house R&D projects. So in this context, we are a research organization. And then we do some joint research cooperation like Fraunhofer with local and regional partners and also international partners, particularly SME. And then we do technology transfer and incubation of startup, spin-off like yours, by shared capital funding. So this is a very successful mechanism developed by JITRI. And we provide also technical and commercial service for local and regional companies, and continuous engineering education and public training, and finally, popular science and technology education and publicity. So this is roughly what is our job. Our business portfolio, strategically, we focus on aerospace. So this is my job previously, and infrastructure, sustainability, and key equipment development and clean energy. We focus a little bit on the technical competence of carbon fiber manufacturing, multifunctionality, multifunctional materials, joining of dissimilar materials, lightweight structures, and also LCA and circular economy. In terms of public service, this includes testing, characterization, manufacturing technology, prototyping, pilot production, up to industrial and technology training. I am not sure, are you a little bit familiar with Chinese culture? We have a children saying, say, if a tiger likes to have a bite on the sky, he certainly don't know how to start. If you look at this portfolio, it's certainly too big. The spectrum is too broad. So we focus at the moment, because we are just 2 years, we focus on 3 major areas. The first one is engineering composites. So this is something lightweight and green. Composite materials used for large engineering structure. And the second one is aerospace composites. You know what is aerospace. And the third one is composites for sustainability. I'm sure you know there is a great Chinese. His name is Mao Zedong. You know, Mao Zedong said everything in the world, most precious and important is to have people. So we are really people-centered, and we make us attractive for talents, technological talents. Therefore, this is roughly our team at the moment in leading position. I like to take example in the international global aspect. We hired Paul Hock, the last one, who was a renowned professor in UK, in Europe, and worldwide in polymer and composite materials. He had his job in different UK, British universities. So a lot of students, I think in China, his students may be over 100. So we have really a good relationship. Now he had also his job at our center. So we try to make link China and UK and behind European countries to develop some business beneficial for both sides. And my personally, my background is aerospace. I had my education in, at that time, West Germany, and I have also experience in the German industry, in Chinese industry, in Chinese National Institute and universities. We think people is important, and industrial experience is important. So this is roughly our core competence and leading team. Now, if we are conducting in-house research, we need some platform, technological platform. So this is roughly a figure of what we are, how we are state-of-the-art equipped with our equipment. There are different models. As mentioned, JITRI is not a university as we are. JITRI is not a pure research institute. JITRI is not an enterprise. What is JITRI? What is CCIC? So we do all of this and combine all the resources together. So this is the platform we provide to serve SME particularly. So this is technical platform. And then if anyone of you want to find your partner, sure, in the specified area, carbon fiber and composites, you can contact us because we are a national center. We are at the moment the secretary unit of the alliance, the National Strategic Alliance of carbon fiber and composites industry. At the moment, like WAITRO, but nationwide, we have 25 members, and we have over 22, more than 22 strategic partners. So we like to provide you the connecting in China, for example. Okay, now to the international cooperation. I think particularly in this turbulent geopolitical situations, we need international cooperation and understanding with each other more than ever before. Therefore, we organized in this year, in April, an international master class for sustainability of advanced materials, including composites. It was a successful event. And besides, we also look for foreign partners to develop some technology, to develop some market. I like to give you some example with the transnational giant company like Airbus. We are developing aero seat made of natural fiber, plant fiber. And this is just assigned in the Zhuhai air show quite recently. And this is Fraunhofer. Fraunhofer, as mentioned before, is a great organization, but we like to have a partnership with Fraunhofer. But more important is SME, small company, national and international, global. So this is a cooperation with a high-tech startup in UK to develop lightweight car structure. And another example is a joint venture with a Spain company. Behind this company, it is again Fraunhofer. Fraunhofer technology transferred to a Spain company, and they have their production in China, and then we make this cooperation cycle. So I think this is a wonderful cooperation globally. And then also this again a transnational company supplier. We signed agreement and we make our green product together. Okay, research, business cooperation, and also important is education and training. I think CCIC has really expertise in education, in training. The figures, the photographs show you what our courses. Okay, still we are in the JITRI and NICE framework of education. So we cooperate with dozens of universities in China and global for postdoc, for PhD, for your master and bachelor degree, and internship, and many students running in, running out in our labs. And we organize also joint training for technicians. So this is also very successful. We publish regularly position reports to tell the community, the industry, what is the state of the art of technology, how can we use these resources. And in the following 3 slides, I like to give you 3 successful stories. First one is cooperation in the framework China-European Union. Of course, this is a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. See, the basic idea is to use the natural fiber for aircraft industry in the interior and the secondary structure. We are so successful, 8 European countries and 11 Chinese entities involved in this program. And one outcome of this cooperation is some green materials. Again, green materials. It is not the structure materials. It is consumable materials. Consumable is so important. It's one-time use. After the use, it's waste, industrial waste. So we developed this sustainable materials. This is a visit of Boeing to my lab in Nottingham. Liu Qing will visit this university. Again, a global university, a big company like Boeing and us. So we cooperate again. So this is the first example, successful. Another one is lightweight carbon roads. This will be used in the large bridge, in the stadium, and big constructions. Normally, this is a steel ropes. And we are using the carbon fiber with the thermoplastic matrix. So still, this is under development. I think if we are successful, this is a huge market. The third one is the partnership. partnership. Cooperation, sign an agreement with universities. This is the easiest way, but it is not good enough. WAITRO is a big organization, is a good platform for international cooperation, but I used to be a president intern of also a big global organization, membership organization, that is the SEMPI. SEMPI is the Society of the Advancement of Materials and Process Engineering. It's a professional membership like WAITRO, but specified for materials. It was created just in the end of the Second World War to support as a demand for fighting against the Axis powers. So we actively involved in the global SEMPI activities, in conference, in student contest, in the training, and so this is really an attractive action for young students to play their role, to show their skills in the international tribute. Okay, finally, I like to make a proposal for WAITRO. I expected someone through our event that will be in particular to organize the training course. I don't know, China is a developing country or China is a developed country. I don't know the political term, but important is developing country, developed country, we need a connection. We need the working force. Working force must be trained in technology. So we give the young people chance, we give the young people opportunity. And the best one is the technical skills. So this can be trained. So we can provide this particularly in Asia, in Africa, and also in South America and EC. So this is really the South-South cooperation. We need some action. So this we can do. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Any question?
No, leave that in the break. Thank you, Professor Yi. I don't know whether China is a developing country or a developed country, but I do know it has enormous potential to solve problems in sustainability. So thank you for your proposal, and if there's anything I can do to help it happen, please let me know. We have a second presentation keynote from the JITRI ecosystem. Mr. Zhenjue is the Deputy Director of the Yangtze Delta Institute for Solar Technology. He leads a team focused on turning advanced solar research into practical solutions for space and renewable energy. Specializing in space solar cells, his team has developed durable and radiation-resistant silicon cells and flexible encapsulation techniques, making solar technology more cost-effective and adaptable for real-world applications in harsh environments. Most importantly, is another member of the JITRI ecosystem, so please welcome Mr. Shen.
I'm Zhenjue from YIST, so welcome to Jiangsu, China. 我想这个就是还是用中文讲比较好一点，这个4个都是英文，我就用中文讲哈。那我今天的报告呢，就是我们如何把 YIST 从这个光伏产业当中把高校和这个我们的产业界联合起来这样的一个分享啊。那首先是我们这个 YIST， 就是长三角太阳能光伏技术创新中心，我们的创立时间是2年时间啊，从2021年开始。那为什么要创立我们的这个太阳能光伏技术创新中心呢？ 主要是大家都知道，在光伏产业，我们中国在整个光伏产业链的占比，在全球来看，每个环节都超过了80%甚至90%，但是在先进的技术研究方面，我们中国在这个领先的技术创新和这个产业应用方面，还是落后于我们其他世界最发达的这个国家。特别是在这个原创的这个光伏技术创新方面，我们还是有落后的地方。所以我们希望，对标我们最先进的这个光伏的这个研究机构，比如说像这个德国的 Fraunhofer， 今天也来了啊，那还有就是像美国等等其他日本一些其他的创新的这个机构，我们希望能够与他们站在一起，为我们中国在这个全球的光伏领域的话语权啊，争得一席之地啊。这是我们的这个创立的初衷。那么同时，我们也双线并轨啊。第一是我们自身建立我们自身的这个研发能力啊。第二呢，我们也是连接我们的优秀高校和我们的这个光伏产业界，希望把我们这个高校当中优秀的这些创意和原创的技术能够产业化，能够应用到这个我们的产业界，能够赋能我们的光伏行业。那整体上，我们在这个产业界和高校的连接方面，我们有4条链来做这个工作。那分别是这个人才链，第2个是这个产业链，第3个是这个创新链，第4个是这个资金链。啊，我们从这4个方面来整合高校、研究院所以及公司或者产业的这个联系，发挥他们各自的长处，让他们能够在这个整个链中扮演自己最合适的角色，啊，提升我们的创新的效率和创新的这个能力。那在人才链方面呢，我们双线并举，第一个是我们建设自己的这个创新的能力，我们跟这个国内的优秀高校联合。我们聘请他们的团队与我们 YST 自己的团队联合进行这个光伏技术的研发和开发。那这里有一个案例是我们2024年的年初与这个北京理工大学联合成立了这个研发的这个项目，用来这个开发我们这个卫星太阳翼的这个更换的机器人啊，在轨的一个机器人，这也是一个非常有创意的项目啊。那么在这个学生培养方面呢，我们跟4所高校啊联合进行的研究生这个培养的这个交流啊，目前已经是超过50名的这个硕士研究生进行了联合培养啊。那我们也跟这个华东理工大学、这个河海大学等等一些高校联合进行研究生的培养。那第2方面呢，我们是产业链，我们希望把这个高校的优秀老师和优秀的学生引入到我们企业来，所以我们专门创立了一个品牌叫 PV School 啊，能够把这个像国内外的高校，像新南威尔士大学、复旦大学、上海交大等等优秀的这个光伏行业的老师，直接请到我们的企业里面来，因为我们知道中国的光伏企业发展的比较快，但是实际上他们很多员工对于光伏的基础知识，特别是理论的知识是有所欠缺的啊，所以我们把这个高校的优秀教师直接请到我们的企业里面来，为企业的这个员工进行基础的光伏理论的培训。那同时呢，我们也是让这些老师和我们的企业主或者企业的管理层来进行交流，把他们的更好的这个技术的创意或者是这个商业的计划能够相互交流，直接沟通啊，这样能够缩短我们学校和这个企业之间的距离，能够碰撞出非常好的这个火花和创意。那第3方面创新链，那我们也是跟国内的8所高校建立了这个联合的机制，共同申请我们国家级或者省级的一些创新的一些项目啊。那目前2年时间，我们共同申请了12项这个课题，那总共是获取了1800万人民币的这个研发资金，也是投入我们的光伏创新和研发当中。 那另外呢，我们也与9所高校和这个研究院所建立了这个联合实验室，来进行光伏方面的创新，包含了这个新南威尔士大学、复旦大学以及苏州大学等等，在光伏行业非常知名的高校啊，进行联合创新。那么在资金链方面，也就是我们的创业创新方面呢，我们也是专门创立了我们原创中国的一个品牌。每年固定的2次，我们会聘请企业家作为我们的评委，来到我们的 YST， 专门对于我们光伏行业，特别是我们集萃体系内或者我们 YST 自己的这个研发的成果，转化为产业或者公司化、项目化的这样的一个可能性进行评审。那如果这个现场有合适的产业化的项目，我们会直接引入这个投资方，现场进行洽谈和签约，能够把我们的这个优秀的项目非常高效的转化为小的公司去运营，或者这个初期的这个天使轮的运营啊，能够快速的推进我们好的这个项目和好的成果。这里我们分享几个案例啊，一共3个案例。第一个呢，就是我本人也目前在从事的这样的一个项目，就是我们商业卫星的这个低成本太阳电池这样的一个项目。就大家知道，国内包括国际，我们商业卫星在近2年发展非常迅速。那其中太阳翼就是我们这个卫星用来作为主电源的太阳能的翅膀，那是一个成本的一个主要的构成。那需要在商业航天的过程当中去降低它的制造成本。那我们是使用了基于地面技术的硅太阳电池来替代原有的砷化镓电池，把它的成本降低到了原来的1/10啊，能够有效的提升我们这个商业航天的降低我们商业航天的成本。那这个项目我们目前是推进比较快啊，商业化也是非常好。那么我们目前跟多家的头部的我们国内的商业航天公司进行了签约，并且是为他们已经开始进行供货。那我们目前在天上有2颗卫星在轨，同时我们在2025年我们会有大量的这个发射任务来进行我们的商业推广。那客户也是对我们的在轨的数据非常满意啊。那第二个呢，是我们在这个 BIPV 就是光伏建筑一体化方面做的工作。我们引入的这个这个新南威尔士大学的李中天博士为我们来进行开发的这个光伏屋顶的这个光伏瓦片，那主要是供给这个欧洲、美国的市场。那整体的效果也是非常好，放在屋顶上面，这个感官上也是非常漂亮。那目前这个项目呢，我们已经在2023年的5月份落地在我们的江苏江阴啊。那第三呢，在光伏装备方面，我们也是引入了东南大学的这个钱博士来做我们这个光伏的这个真空双倍以及这个热丝 CVD 的这个装备，用来做我们这个新型的太阳电池。那目前这个装备的项目也是落地在我们的这个江苏省啊，这个是我们在装备方面做出的一个比较重要的一个投资的决策和发展方向啊，能够有力的推动后续的新型的高效的太阳电池的降本以及生产。好，那总结一下，我觉得我们这个太阳能光伏创新中心呢，还是希望双线并举。第一呢，建设我们自己的创新和研发的能力。那第二呢，也是希望能够连接这个高校和这个产业界，能够把高校做的原创的这些技术，以及产业界需要的能够量产化的有性价比的这样的一个产品联合在一起，在当中作为一个桥梁啊。2方面并举，为我们的这个光伏产业能够赋能，为我们的集萃做出我们发展的贡献。好，谢谢大家。
For our final plenary, we've looked at Fraunhofer system. We've looked at JITRI institutes. It's fitting to end with a retrospective of WAITRO itself. I'm happy to say we have a gentleman who is the closest thing we have in WAITRO to a living legend, I would say. Dr. Moses Mengu is a native of Ghana. In 1974, his then boss at CSIR Ghana was working on WAITRO membership for CSIR and sent young Moses to work with the then Secretariat in Europe. In 1983, he formally joined the Secretariat thanks to research funding from the Swedish Institute. I believe he's done time as Secretary General, right? Way back when. He's been in many other positions. He's been a key guider of the WAITRO benchmarking program more recently. And most important, he's our key historical resource, like a walking encyclopedia on the history of WAITRO. And as that, he has been phenomenally valuable to me as a mentor in the last 4 years about what WAITRO is about. Fittingly, just at the last General Assembly, he was voted the first honorary member of WAITRO. That's the only category for an individual in the WAITRO system. And deservedly so. He's still our only honorary member in WAITRO. Please give a very warm welcome, Dr. Moses Mengu.
What?
See the backwards there.
Okay.
And if you want to use these, or if you want to stand with this, either one. Okay.
Yeah, I was asked by Paul to talk about the history of WAITRO, but I felt that just talking about the history doesn't convey the message. So WAITRO retrospective, not only that I can't pronounce that word, but I taught the Ghanaian concept of rebirth, renaissance, which is Sankofa, represents better what I want to talk about. Sankofa is a Ghanaian, the way we write is represented by this. It's a bird that is going forward, but taking account of its past. In order to build the future, you need to have and preserve a past. This is our traditional Ghanaian writing. It's called Sankofa. So my presentation is in 3 parts: views from the past, assessing WAITRO's impact, and a look into the future. So what is WAITRO? WAITRO is not only just its members, WAITRO is also those within its member organizations. So if you deal with WAITRO as the buildings, as the membership, you lose the essence of it. You have to bring along all those people within the organizations that constitute WAITRO. This is the actual concept of WAITRO. You can't deal with WAITRO without knowing the individuals, without knowing the people within those organizations. So why WAITRO? One of the legends in WAITRO, Mr. Khan, who was one of the founding members, he said this: we in the industrialized nations know that ships sometimes get lost, despite the fact that their crews know they have the best helms, they have the best sails, and they have the best auxiliary engines. But the seagull is the sign of land. It doesn't matter how big or small the boat is. When they see the seagull, they know they are close to land. And this is what WAITRO is. So whether it is JITRI, or it is Fraunhofer, it is CSR in Ghana, or it's the smallest institute in Burkina Faso, they all use WAITRO as the benchmark to reach land. And this is the concept of WAITRO which we should preserve. And the actual concept is written in the second paragraph of WAITRO's constitution. This was written in 1970. It is important for industrial research institutes and associations to create an effective liaison for exchange of ideas, information, and experience and for cooperation, coordination, and mutual support at regional and international level. This was written in 1970, and if you fast forward to 2024, the WAITRO Constitution is like this. It's still the same paragraph, and it still holds true for today as it was in 1970. All we need to do is to put Nanjing 2024, and it's still valid. This is what WAITRO is. Some of the people who were at the founding, unfortunately, not many of them are left. I actually know of only one, Mr. Hollis Charles from Kariri, who is the only one still living from those days, from the 1970 days. So assessing WAITRO's impact, I would go through the different phases of WAITRO. From 1970 to 1977 was the period of the concept and the formulation of WAITRO. From 1978 to 1987 was what we termed the intermediate period. WAITRO was still finding its feet and establishing the way it should cooperate. Then from 1988 to 2000 was a time of stabilization and growth. This is when we saw WAITRO actually carrying out projects and doing things. Then the modernization period followed from 2003 to 2018. And today, this is what I now term WAITRO Sankofa. We are in a rebirth, a renaissance, and we have to look back at the past. So in the concept phase, it was more the development of the Constitution, the establishment of working procedures, and this was done by somebody I will talk about later. In the intermediate phase, we went into actual activities, and the significant thing there was that most of the directors of the new research institutes which were being set up in the developing countries were all trained by WAITRO during this period. So the director of Kariri, the director of CSIR, the directors of SIRIM in Malaysia, SIR in India, all across the world, WAITRO trained all these young directors who developed these institutions. Then in the stabilization period, we went into actual project collaboration. One of the biggest projects was a metallurgical project funded by UNDP between CMRDI in Egypt and TNO and Fraunhofer in Germany. During the modernization period, this was when WAITRO was mostly in Malaysia. It was rebranding the organization. We moved from our concept of global partnerships to the global innovation family. And there was the revision of the WAITRO Constitution. And at that point, it was not only the full members of WAITRO that we know about now, but we also included universities, we included associations, we included all other types of members. This was the modernization period. And I would say today we are in another phase. It's more a continuation of this modernization period, but we're also introducing some new dimensions, some new types of partnerships in WAITRO. So these are some of the impact areas. These are some of the institutes that were trained and founded in the 1970s and the 1970s. Kariri, Trinidad, SRI, Jordan, Tubitak. All the directors in these organizations were trained in America, in Canada, and so forth. The stabilization period, here, the most significant impact areas were when we joined the European R&D programs. And one of them, I would show the picture quite soon. Then during the modernization period, we tried to go into competitive research programs to make a bit of money for not only the members, but also for the secretariat. At the Renaissance period, one of the significant impact areas, of course, you all know about is CIRA. I wouldn't talk too much about it. The operators of CIRA are here. We are setting up, or it has been set up, the WAITRO Operations EV. The WAITRO online benchmarking thing has been revived again, and the capacity building programs have all started. So, if you look at, if you want to sum up what WAITRO has gone through, in 1970 to 2000, the slogan of WAITRO was a global partnership for industrial and technological development. And this was the logo. This was what we used from 1970 to 2000. Today, we have shifted to the global innovation family. But if you look at it, it's exactly the same type of thing. What WAITRO depends upon are partnerships. So it doesn't matter whether it was in the 70s or today, we still work through partnerships. And this is what WAITRO should grow and use for its future growth. This is one of the partnerships that we set up. It was to transform bio-waste to sustainable products in a number of African countries. It involved about 12 WAITRO members from 10 countries, funded by the European Union and coordinated by the Danish Technological Institute. This is an example of the type of projects that WAITRO can do for its members. A very successful project. It went through about 6 years, trained several people, and so forth. So a look at the future. What should WAITRO be doing? We have to look at the value proposition for WAITRO. Actually, since its foundation, people have always asked the question, what is the value of WAITRO? What is in WAITRO for us? And if you look back at my first slides, we saw the building there with WAITRO written on it, but we also saw the human beings. WAITRO is a network, it's a concept. It's not a physical structure. So if you want to put a value for a physical structure into a network, you wouldn't get it. And in WAITRO, we have been fighting this battle for a very long time. We should realize that WAITRO is a network. As long as it can network people, it can bring people together, then it's achieving its value. It's not the technological developments and other things that its members are bringing up. WAITRO is to support the members to bring these developments. It's not itself doing that job. It's a network, it's a concept. So the value of WAITRO is to make sure that it actually networks people, it brings people together. So the value is the collective power of its membership. The focus would be to achieve things like the SDGs. In previous years, it was to achieve the global development goals and so forth. So this network works, it has a strategy, but the strategy shouldn't replace the concept of networking. The current strategy would be to work on the global sustainable goals. One of the things which WAITRO has tried to do but has never been able to do is to set up a kind of a certification or a recognition system for RTOs. This has never been achieved, and in the future, I think that is something the new WAITRO should look at. The other thing WAITRO has never been able to achieve is measuring its actual impact. WAITRO is not very good at keeping statistics. This is how much we made through collaboration through our members and to value it in monetary terms. But for the future, to be able to prove to the world what WAITRO actually is, we need a way to collect metrics to be able to measure actual impact. Another thing for the future is a committed core membership. If you have an organization that is 1,000 members and they are faceless, it hasn't got the same impact as having an association or an organization with just 10 committed, fully committed members. And WAITRO's survival through the years has been through the commitment of not less than 20 of its members. It's good that the Secretariat or whoever is handling WAITRO recognizes this fact, knows who these core people are, the cornerstones, and maintains them. This is one of the things that would commit, or that would ensure that WAITRO actually survives the years. Just to mention a few of these committed members, you have SIRIM, you have TUBITAC, you have RSS, CMRDI, Fraunhofer, DTI, CSR, Ghana, Kariri. These were at the founding in 1970, and they are still here today. So WAITRO needs to identify these committed members around the world, especially in each region, and then to hold them in place. Others may come in and go out, but the core membership, the nucleus of that global family should be retained. Then, apart from the core members, you also need individuals, people who are committed to the cause, who would devote their energy to serve the association. If you don't have that, if you don't have committed handlers, it doesn't work. And throughout the years, Dr. Paul Trussell from Canada, Hans-Georg Lindgren from Sweden, of course, myself, Rohani from Malaysia, the gentleman there, Eckhart from Germany, and now we have Paul Burrows. These are people who have done over and above the requirements of their duty to retain, to maintain and grow the association. For the future, WAITRO has to cultivate dedicated handlers. And adaptability. WAITRO has to be able to adapt to the circumstances of the world. In the formation years, it was South-South cooperation. WAITRO was founded basically to drive South-South cooperation in industrial research. In the 80s, it was to help RTOs adapt to globalization, internationalization, and so forth. In the future, other strategies would come, and WAITRO would have to adapt to work along those models. But they shouldn't change the character and the nature of the association. So we have this slogan in WAITRO, which is once WAITRO, always WAITRO. For the association to survive, all members in WAITRO should have this as their slogan. Once you enter, please try to stay in. And it should be the same for the Secretariat, the board, the RFPs and the SIGs, and its own members. This is the group that have handled it so far, and we need to have this DNA of WAITRO transmitted along the line. Thank you very much.
I'll take that with you.
What?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Moses. I think that was a fitting conclusion to our invited plenary speakers. I would hope that I would add one more acronym to that list of cornerstones of WAITRO that you put up. Of course, it wasn't born in 1970, it was born in 2013, but I know that JITRI very much sees the value of WAITRO and sees ways in which it can contribute, as we heard 2 days ago from Professor Liu Qing, our president, in his speech. This is the end of the summit, but the General Assembly for WAITRO will go on at 11 a.m. and it will start at 11 a.m. because it's a very short General Assembly, just 90 minutes. So for those members in good standing that are delegates, I'd encourage you to attend, and it's going to be just over there in a slightly smaller room. And then if anyone's sticking around, particularly from the European field, we have a bilateral WAITRO meeting with Noord-Brabant area of the Netherlands to encourage some new members from the Europe region this afternoon, and you're more than welcome to attend that. So that's it for me before my voice goes, but I would just like to invite one last time, he's done a lot of work. Oh, I would say one more thing though, before I invite Professor Mandal up. I hope that all of the delegates that have come here to this summit, please don't go home and just come back in 2 years. I've heard a lot of good things about the breakout sessions that have gone on in the last 2 days and a lot of positive learning and new partnerships that have been made. Let's keep the momentum going. The Secretariat will absolutely support you with reports and strategy on keeping those initiatives going, but we need the input to come from you, the members. So please make us work and bring us that information. With that, I will invite the President of WAITRO, Professor Hasan Mandal, one last time to officially close the summit.
Okay, so good morning once again. So dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and dear students. So when we started in 2 days ago, I mean, it's full of the auditorium, I mean, it's full, and still now, so which means that, I mean, it is not normal for a conference, but this is not a conference, it's a summit. So, I mean, when we started in 2 days ago until now, I mean, I think it's giving a kind of a structure. I think it's a little bit different than the previous summits, and I think which I also checked with the other colleagues and from the board and from the delegates. So it's a different type of inspirations. So we have been learned from the keynote lecturers, plenary lectures for the first day, starting and also this morning as well. But also in between, there are many thematical topics, sessions. I mean, green and digital transformation, so the resilient cities for the disasters, so benchmarking of the RTOs, and also, of course, the sustainability topics on water, energy, and food. And so these are not ordinary sessions, there are interactive sessions. So I think this is at least this summit is make them the befores and make them more interaction. So not only networking between the sessions, but also during the, within the sessions as well. So getting the information from the leading experts, but then go to the discussions point. And also, we have been introduced new, point of the poster session. And also, we have been celebrated 3 of the winners from the 44, posters. And in that case also, we brought our talents or the experts or the researchers in front of the investors as well. So this is, I think, another motivation and also learning. And also during the benchmarking, I think we have been also learned that, how we can assess our performance of the RTOs, because this is the WAITRO is representing more than 70 countries and nearly 170 RTOs. So how can we doing the benchmarking? Also UN Tech Bank, we have been talk about early morning yesterday session, and again full of the room on discussing about how we can use the science, technology, innovation for leveraging, especially in terms of the not only for the developed countries, for the LDCs as well, but our keyword is the science, technology, and innovation. And also we have been learned this morning, especially for model of the Fraunhofer. We well know, but with updated one, also with the more recent info, and also our host organization of the JITRI. So we have been heard from the first day from the Director General, Professor Liu Qin, and also this morning two institutes formed under the umbrella of the JITRI. So these are different type of models. I think at least that I said also yesterday in the banquet that if we are learning something and also getting a kind of not only learning, but how we can implement to our institutions and organizations, I think is one of the big gain. And this is, I think, at least from my perspective, that this is one of the big or great achievement. And also in the last talk with the honorary member of the Moses, also giving a kind of in very short time of 15 to 20 minutes history, but more than the history, looking for the next period of time of the WAITRO. So it is an ordinary conference. We are saying that, okay, we can meet in 2 years' time, but WAITRO is a global innovation family. So not only we are going to meet in 2 years' time, but also in between, there are many instruments of the WAITRO, has been mentioned very clearly by the Moses, but also it has been said it's a Renaissance term, so which means that this is not limited. So SAIRA platform, for example, the capacity building programs, so the benchmarking, but these are not limited. So the Renaissance means that something will be also, and this will come from bottom up, not only from top down, from the secretariat or from the executive board. So this is the WAITRO is a global innovation family, is open to all kind of ideas and suggestions, and especially from our young talents as well. Because also, especially in the first day, I especially mentioned that the future of the WAITRO is based on the talents capacity building programs as well. And of course, I should thank to many colleagues or institutions as well. This summit has been only possible with our joint efforts. Although the board and the executive secretariat is taking the main role, but all the panels, the sessions, they have been brought to different type of stakeholders. So this is make us to work together to make this summit as possible. So in this respect, so I thank in terms of the order. So of course the executive board and also the regional focal points. This is, I think, one of the important fact, at least what I have been learned from the WAITRO. We have not too much talk about the regional focal points, but there are 5 regional focal points, and they are working in between, and they are helping our secretariat. That's make it possible, because as I said, during the period of between one summit to another summit, there are some central instruments provided by the secretariat, but also we have local issues and the local kind of dynamics. So in this respect, the local focal points, so they are very important. There are 5 local points, and we thank very much all of them. And also in terms of the sessions, so the TÜBİTAK, which I also represented on 2 sessions, has been organized by TÜBİTAK on digital and green transformation and resilient cities. And the Jian Liverpool University for the Industry Park breakout session. So the CSIR for South Africa for the local to the global breakout. This is one of the important issues in terms of how we can use the local kind of benefits to make a global impact, because the conference has been named is from innovation to the impact. So Danish DTI for the benchmarking, I think is an excellent one of the, I think definitely we will use the model without other than, not only the name in terms of the session, but in terms of the format, more interaction, because I have been checked from the many colleagues that they have been show themselves. I mean, they are making themselves very valuable because they are putting direct interaction in this type of formats, but also the benchmarking, I think, is important because comparing and learning from each other. And also the UN Tech Bank for the LDCs, I mean, is our new also partner, and we have been especially for the managing director of the UN Tech Bank, Deodat Maharaj, and Northwest University in South Africa for the special interest for group satellite meetings, and also we have been 2 tutorial sessions on food and energy. And also, of course, our associate members, they have been strongly engaged in different means, and also especially, I mean, from them, the Headways, Seneca, and Evidence. So these are also our, I mean, I am sure more, but I mean, it is these 3 that I'm showing a strong performance in here. And of course, I mean, our host of the both JITRI and YIST and Professor Liu Qin, I mean, thank him very much. I mean, we have been hosted by his organization for the last 3 days, but before as well, I mean, preparing all the venue for us. And of course, I mean, the Paul, and also mentioned, I mean, his team yesterday, I mean, all the volunteers, I mean, taking from us from the first day or even advance for till end of this conference. So, I mean, our journey of the WAITRO, once WAITRO, and always WAITRO, what Moses has been saying. I think this is kind of a motto that, so which means that, I mean, we have been putting our efforts, and in terms of we are bringing, I think, a very critical issue on from innovation to the impact. And I think one of the value for the WAITRO, I mean, as also Moses has been mentioned, that, I mean, is from 1970 till now, during the 54 years, is the same in terms of what type of aims and also the values. Only thing what we have been changing is we are not only looking for the question for what and why. I think they are more consensus. So how we will be achieved. So I mean, the WAITRO is providing a venue for, although the time period has been changing and the targets are maybe the purposes are the same, but the how we will be achieved, I think this is a kind of a learning curve, and this could be only possible under the umbrella of the WAITRO, at least from my individual perspective and my institution perspective, from Turkish perspective. Yes, it is, I mean, of course, there is always a room for improvement, but I think this is, at least in this summit, we have been achieved these certain goals. So once more, thank you very much for all you are coming, for all the participants from 31 countries. They are coming in here, spending their time and putting their efforts, but more than this, to learning in here and back to home, to institutions, and try to implement what we have been learned in here and keeping good connection for the next 2 years. And looking forward to seeing you in 2 years' time. I think the venue will be announced in summer. Soon, and safe journey back to home, and the best regards to your partners and your employees in your RTO. So on the behalf of, I mean, the WAITRO, as the current president of the WAITRO, thank you very much for your coming and sharing your experience, and looking forward to seeing you soon in next WAITRO event.